Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praise, glory, honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect out here pushing truth and sincerity. The part of which I do, we love you. We appreciate you through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Shalom to y'all. It's your brother Dawadad. Adawan Ratazah, meaning the Lord's will. Here to get an edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. This is 1 Samuel chapter 1 overview. So we're just going to do a little read along. And then, I don't want to that's edifying. Just jump right into it. All right. A little summary. Samuel was a prophet. All right. It's going to give that in the chapter. But if you don't know, those of you who don't know what Samuel is, he was a prophet. All right. And just a summary, just around the time of King Saul. All right. And which basically leads into King David. All right. So that's kind of like a little small timeline. All right. So 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 1, it says, "Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim of Mount Ephraim." And those of you who don't know, Ephraim is it means a parium, which means fruitful. It's the Puerto Ricans, right? The so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos. You make up the 12 tribes of Israel, and you have Ephraim, who is so-called Puerto Ricans. All right, fruitful, right? Because they're very fruitful, and it's a omen nomen, right? The Most High named us the way, the prophecies will line up according to our names and according to different attributes and traits of our people. All right, Ephraim, Aparium, which means fruitful, and they are known to have a lot of kids. All right, all the 12 tribes of Israel are known to have a lot of kids, but then Puerto Ricans, man, they be spitting them out like Skittles, man. You know what I'm saying? So it says, now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim, the little tongue twister there, of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephrathite. And he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. All right, so the man had 2 wives, right? And this is a man of the Lord. He's going up to, the prophet, the priests, right? And, when you read throughout the whole, nowhere in the Bible does it say that this man was going off for having 2 wives, right? So we are allowed to have as many women as we want, as long as we take care of them. All right. So it says, and he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. All right. It says, Salakia. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of the Lord, were there. All right. So, and this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts. So, Lord of hosts, hosts is like armies, right? Because that's what the Most High is. Exodus chapter 15 verse 3 says the Lord is a man of war, right? Hosts. See? It's army, warfare, host of angels, host of organized army, host. So the Lord of hosts, all right? So, because the Most High is a man of war, right? And a man too, right? So that cuts all these women out here who believe that the Most High is a woman, or even niggas that believe that, all right? And he's all about peace and love. No, he's the Lord of hosts, all right? So it says, and this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons, Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas, the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priest of the Lord, were there. And he went up to do yearly worship, because around this time, our people, we gave sacrifice, and what happened is we would go to the priests. The priests at that time were Levi. because Yahweh Shai didn't come onto the scene yet. So we still did blood sacrifice, and not blood sacrifice, Salaki, animal sacrifice, right? We would send up a burnt offering for our sins and for our family sins, right? And it says, and when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah, his wife, and all her sons and her daughters portions. But to Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. And it's just further evidence that we're allowed to have more women, because he's doing his yearly sacrifice, and there's nothing wrong with it. You don't hear him make mention of Eli telling him he's going off for making sacrifices for Peninnah and her family, her children that he had with her, and Hannah. He didn't, not once did Eli say, "Hey man, you're going off for having these other women. What's going on? You come up year by year, and the same two women all the time, man. Whether you going off, what's wrong with you? You're supposed to only have one woman. Where's your wedding ring at?" First verse 6. And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because the Lord has shut up her womb. Yeah. So her adversary is Peninnah. All right, yeah, because when a long time ago, not now, but it was a burden to be barren, right? Now it's a burden to be pregnant to these damn women, right? They want to have abortions, right? They got mad when Roe versus Wade got overturned, because these women are wicked, man, But back then, it was a thing that a woman would pretty much damn near count herself as nothing, man, in vain, in death, if she was barren and couldn't have any children, because that was the proudest moment for a female back there, to have a child by a king, man, right? Not by the king. I'm pretty sure she would want that as well, but men, we're kings, man. We so-called Black, Native American, Latino men, you're kings, and if a woman could bear your child, that was the greatest honor to her, right? That was the greatest honor. That was her greatest honor. What women really held a lot of value in giving birth, man, because they were more feminine back then. Now they're a bunch of damn niggas, pretty much. It says yeah, her adversary provoked her. So Peninnah was talking hot shit to Hannah all the time, mocking her, because she was barren, And it said verse 7, and as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. So they went to do their sacrifices year by year, and it was a natural thing. Naturally, the man will give sacrifices for his wives and their children, right? His wives, plural. Elkanah was not the only one. All of Israel was doing this. Some men have more women than others, right? So this woman is she's sad, man. So Hannah's sad because she's barren, man, and her sister wife is making her feel even worse, mocking her, making her feel like shit, right? Being a fucking demon. It says, then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am I not better to thee than 10 sons? Because the greatest gift that the Most High can give any woman was, to be the wife of an Israelite king. It says, so Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord, and she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. So he wasn't going to cut his hair. I believe it's the promise of a Nazarite, right, or Nazarene, right, which means there's certain things that they couldn't do, or there was certain rules and laws that they had to specifically follow. So that would be a like Yahweh Shai was a Nazarite, right? He was a follower of the Most High, right? He would do the Most High's will, according to whatever the Most High's will was, and he was only about the Lord, and that's it. Whatever the Lord said, he had to do, right? He couldn't go off and do his own thing. He wanted to go off and be a gladiator at that time, or he wanted to go off and own businesses and stuff like that. That wasn't his lot. His lot was to follow the Most High, all right, and do the Most High's bidding, man. Whatever it was that the Most High wanted him to do. All right, so that's the oath that a certain man would take. So certain men even went as far as to cut off their own genitals to become a eunuch, so that they wouldn't have any sex with them, so they would be only devoted to purely the Most High. All right, so that's what Samuel is promised to be, only about the Most High. It says, and it came to pass as she continued praying before the Lord that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken, because she was, sorrow. She was very, very sorrowful, very depressed and mourning, right? It says, and Eli said unto her, how long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, no, my Lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Most High. And notice how she said, no, my Lord. That's how women spoke back then. And they will be speaking like that very soon. All right, you ain't gonna have these damn independent women out here talking about nigga and shit. They're gonna be calling you my Lord, as they should. Verse 16. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, right? Belial means to be wicked. And, women aren't supposed to be out there, being all loud and crass, right? Drunk, drinking all out in public with their, being all loud and crass and rude. That's wicked, man. Anytime you see a woman out there all spilling, if you see a man out there doing the same thing, he's drunk as hell, was spilling around, left to right, shaking back, rocking back and forth like a drunkard, right? That's to be counted as Belial, which means to be wicked, man. It says, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, go in peace, and the Most High, the power of Israel, grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. She got what she wanted, so she's happy now. And they rose up in the morning early and worshipped before the Most High, and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and the Lord remembered her. All right. Anytime you see he knew her, usually means that he had sex with her. He knew her. All right. Wherefore it came to pass when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, because Elkanah knew Hannah, right, that she bare a son and called his name Samuel, saying, because I have asked him of the Lord. Shout out to the brother Shamak. He let me know. One of the officers here in ATL, the Atlanta GMS camp. The word Samuel means heard of the Heavenly Father. Shamwala, right? Let's see, Samuel. She called his name Samuel. His name is Eli, son of Alvin. It just tells you who he is, but in the Hebrew, Shamwala, it means heard of God. All right, because remember, she asked, and the Most High heard her, and the Most High remembered her, so heard of God. All right, Shamwala. All right, it said, and the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the yearly sacrifice in his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before the Lord, and there abide for forever. And Elkanah her husband said unto her, Do what seemeth thee good, tarry until thou have weaned him. Only the Lord established his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her with 3 bullocks and 1 ephah of flour and a bottle of wine, and brought him unto the house of the Lord in Shiloh. And the child was young, because we gave offerings, man. We gave gifts as well, man. Here it is. Samuel was already a gift enough, but she's humbling herself and she's doing more. That's how our people are. We're supposed to be generous. We're supposed to be doing things like that, man. Right? It says, and they slew a bullock and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my Lord, as thy soul liveth, my Lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here praying unto the Lord. And it's funny, because Eli not once came and was like, Hannah, get out of here. You guys are committing adultery, because you have, this man has 2 wives, and here you are thinking you could bring a adulterous child, whatever, a bastard son, a bastard child. They call this world go off, man. They call kids bastards and shit. It's like, no, that's not that's not what it was supposed to be. All right, it's a man of Israel, man. It's an Israelite man, because the man is allowed to have more than one woman and allowed to have multiple children with multiple women. All right, and Eli was giving her advice, when they were talking about she was drunken, and she was like, no, I'm not drunken, my Lord. I'm just of a sorrowful spirit. Why didn't he say, hey, well, that's what you deserve? Here you are cheating with this man, with this woman's man. like this world would say, oh, she's a slut, she's cheating. Like, no, he's allowed to have as many women as he wants. All right, you're not special. Get out your own, get from up your own ass, man. You're not special. A man can do what he wants pretty much, as long as it's according to the law, man. You don't own him. And I hate that shit, man. These women think they can have supposed to have a man to herself. Shit's annoying as hell, man. All right, so I'm getting emotional. It says, and she said, O Lord, O my Lord, as I so liveth, my Lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here praying unto the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord had given me my petition, which I have asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to the Lord, as long as he liveth, and he shall be lent to the Lord, and he worshiped the Lord there. Yeah, so Eli, Samuel worshiped the Lord there. And you read as you read on, you're gonna see the different things that happened before Samuel actually became one of the priests there, or the prophet there. And then we're gonna go into it slides into the wars, right? This is a little summary, pretty much brief and summary until the next couple chapters, which we're gonna get into later. It goes into the wars with the Philistines, how Saul became king, right? And I believe David comes later, so you can see all this unraveling here in 1st and 2nd Samuel. All right, so with that, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai. This was a overview of Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 1, and shalom to you.